Hi, good morning everybody. I'm at the War Memorial in Blairgowrie when I'm going to start the Cateran trail, which is a circular walk which I think is around about 65 miles. I stayed last night in the Angus Hotel, which it's just facing me now, but I'll show you that as we pass by. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name's John, for those of you that don't know me. For those of you that do know me, I think I've got 27 subscribers at the moment. Thank you very much to my family. Now, this is a beautiful, I would think that would have been a mill at some point. Now, it's absolutely spectacular. Well, through my eyes, it's spectacular. So, how lucky to live in that. It's called Oak Bank Mill. There we go. Back on the main path. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the Cateran trail. As I said before, it's about 65 miles right there round, and I'm going to do it over 5 days. So I'm going to start off today at Blairgowrie to Kirkmichael, and that is 24.5 kilometres. Now, I've got a pack on which is about, not very heavy, it's about 10 kilograms, and I've got the little dog with me which has got short legs, but she can certainly do 5 kilometres an hour. So I'm heading to do it in about 7 hours for 25k, and then I'm going to book myself in to the Kirkmichael Hotel. And again, for any of you that like to go walking with your dogs, it's very dog friendly. So I'm not a lover of wild camping per se, but if I'm out on a walk, I will wild camp if it's necessary, and I will sort of go into a campsite if I have to. But I do prefer, to be honest, I do prefer a nice warm bed and shower at the end of a nice walk. So forgive me, I'm not a purist in terms of hiking. I'm more of a mixed bag. So B&B if I can get one, campsite if I can't, push comes to shove, I will most definitely wild camp, but only really if I have to. So that's me really in a nutshell in terms of how I like to go hiking. Right, hello everybody. The first part of the walk, again out of Blairgowrie, is basically it's on a little tarmac path. It probably goes on for about 3 kilometres, and I think that's after that you're going to swing a right, and then you're going up into the moors, into the fells as you head towards Kirkmichael. So it's nothing spectacular, it's just really nice though. And one thing I've noticed, this is the 3rd time I've done this walk, as I've said earlier, you very rarely do you meet other hikers. It's just, if you like a bit of peace and quiet, which I do. I mean, I still work as a mental health social worker and approved mental health act practitioner, if anyone knows what that is. So I still do mental health act assessments, and that by its very nature can be quite stressful at times. So in regards to my own emotional well-being, this is my go-to. This is what keeps me grounded, and we all need something to keep us grounded. When you're coming out of Blairgowrie, you'll come up a wee hill. It's nothing too taxing, but you've got a little walk up, and then you'll come to this this junction. It says the Cateran Trail, Bridge of Cali, 6 miles via the Knocky path. So you just take a right hand turn there, and as you can see, it is still tarmacked, but this is still quite early on in the walk. You do, well, just up here, probably a couple of kilometres on, you will start going into the open countryside. I've not seen anybody on the wall yet. I'm just enjoying that beautiful bungalow there, and look at that beautiful flower. Oh, that bush, that's gorgeous, isn't it? Right, well, look at the colours. So yeah, you just carry on walking up the wee tarmac path. I've only seen one car on here, so again, for those of you walking with dogs, not a big safety problem. So on that note, I shall see you. As you can see, the tarmac road continues, but I just thought I'd switch on just to show you what I'm seeing at the moment. It's probably quite rural. I'd say it's probably akin or looks a little bit like Lancashire or the Dales or any of the English counties that have got greenery at this moment in time. Now if you look over there, you'll see a farm in the distance. Now that farm, you circle that farm and you go off through the pastures and meadows. It's very, very rural and agricultural at this moment in time, but it's very lush, very green. And if you look at those linnet bushes, aren't those linnet bushes, well, that's what I used to call them, with the yellow flowers, beautiful. Right, when you get to probably around about 4.5 kilometres, you are on tarmac paths, but then you come to a farm and you follow the perimeter of the farm, which is it's a nice introduction to the walk. It's a nice leisurely pace. Scenery wise, as I said before, it's quite rural, mainly agricultural land, but so it's a nice introduction. There's a lot of work going on. They're building some really big fencing here. If you look behind me there, you can see the deer fence, so I would imagine they're having problems with deer, and you do see a lot of deer on this walk. I don't think it's to keep the Cateran trail hikers out, but you do see a lot of deer, so I should imagine that's why this farm, or the Scottish government, are investing heavily in deer protection. So on that note, I will see you in a minute. Right, I suppose this view gives you a better look at the terrain that I'm walking early on in the walk. As you can see, if I pan around there, it is very agricultural. The fields have been sown. Not seen anybody at all today, other than a couple of guys building the deer fence. There's my little walking partner there, Beauty, leading the way at the moment. I've let her off the lead because there's no come on, Beauty, come on, come on. I've let her off the lead because there's no cattle, no livestock, so that's quite safe to do so. She likes to take the lead when we're out for walks. She's a happy little soul. Everyone she sees, she's got to say hello to. Don't know if you know anything about Lancashire heelers, but when I was younger, I used to have, in the 70s, a little dog. Her name was Beauty, and she was a black Lancashire heeler. But at that time, the Lancashire heelers were called Ormskirk heelers, believe it or not. because the Healer was particularly bred for cattle herding in West Lancashire, so hence Ormskirk Healer. But very recently, I'm not too sure when or what the date was, they renamed them Lancashire Healers, I think, to be more inclusive of the wider Lancashire county. Well, that's a little bit about Beauty and my Lancashire Healer. Nice little pleasant introduction to the Cateran Trail through pleasant fields that have just been ploughed. As you can see, I'm still at the point by I think to my left hand side over there is by the big wind turbine, Middleton Farm. So you come around Middleton Farm, and as you can see, there's fences to the left, fences to the right. It's very well fenced in, which is, I suppose it's good for the local farmers, keeps people off their land. You just got to be respectful, really, that you're walking through farm areas. My little Lancashire Healer is just behind me. Now, I haven't come to the point yet, really, where we go up onto the fells, so I shall see you when I'm on the fells. Right, I'm probably about the moment, I think I'm probably at the 10, probably around about 10 kilometres in, and the walk starts to, the countryside starts to open up a little bit at this stage. Now, at the moment, I'm just looking at my map, the 1 to 40,000 map, and this is called the Muir of Drumlochy, and I'm heading towards the Bridge of Cally. Again, I haven't seen a soul yet on this walk, so if I pan around, I'll just show you actually what I'm seeing. It is quite spectacular, really. I really like this part of the walk. This is where the walk starts to get a little bit interesting, and you've left the agricultural land behind you, and you're coming into the into the countryside, really, what we would call in Lancashire, onto the fells. So I actually quite like this now. This is where I start to really enjoy the walk, and because I do believe passionately in walking for your emotional well-being, especially for your mental health. I know some of you may not be able to get out there and go for a walk, but if I can inspire anyone, just one person, just to get out there and experience this, to just go and explore, even if you do it on your own, it doesn't really matter. Just embrace the experience. It's certainly great for your mental health and your spiritual well-being. I do believe passionately about that. So on that note, I'll just leave you with a little bit of inspiration, and just look at that scenery. And I'm just going to head off now towards the Bridge of Cally. I'll probably see you. Hi, well, I'm actually 2 hours in to the walk now, and that over there is still it's the Muir of Drumlochy, which in England obviously it means the moor of Drumlochy. And if you just pan around, this is the clump of woods that I was heading towards, which is Rockalley Hill Plantation. So we're going to walk on now, not too far now really from the Bridge of Cally. There's a little junction there. When you get by the Bridge of Cally, you can turn right to the Bridge of Cally and possibly go to the hotel for a drink or a coffee. But I'm I'm going to bypass the Bridge of Cali. I'm going to carry on turning right towards Kirkmichael. I know when I've done this previously, there was a post office open in the Bridge of Cali where you could pop in and get some supplies, but I watched the video very recently and I'm led to believe that the little post office has closed in the Bridge of Cali, so I'm not going to head in that direction. I'm going to carry on and head off towards Kirkmichael, but before that I'm going to stop and have some lunch in a minute, so me and my little walking partner here, Beauty, can have something to eat. Right, well, I've got to probably think as the halfway point on the first day. I've got to the point where the Bridge of Cali, you just see the sign behind me there now. You should see the sign where the Bridge of Cali is down that way, or we can turn left, and as you can see, that way, that direction is Kirkmichael. And Kirkmichael is 8 miles from here, which is 12.8 kilometers. So we won't be going to the Bridge of Cali, we're going to go carry on and down through this forest path. We've actually come through the moorland now, and I think it's forest path for quite a few kilometers. Nice walking again. If you like forestry paths, then you will like this. I find this quite uplifting. So this is a change in terrain. We've gone from moorland into a forest track, and as I say, we're now heading towards Kirkmichael. Right, as you can see, we are now still on the forestry track. I'm probably in about roughly 12 kilometers in. And there's Beauty, she's leading the way at the moment. She doesn't stray very far, she's quite good. I just keep my eye on her because she does have a tendency to go after rabbits and mice, anything that's small. So I've got to be careful that she doesn't just sort of bolt and take off. Beauty, come by, come by, come by. Good girl, good girl. As you can see, she is a good little girl, she does listen. And here's let's take a little panoramic view of the scenery, and there's where I've come from. It's always good to look back at where you've come from and look at where you're actually going, and to just to take in the scenery and enjoy the day. I'm not one of these people that tries to smash this or smash that. Hats off to anybody that likes smashing things, but excuse me, I certainly don't like smashing anything at the moment. I mean, my pace is normally around about 5 kilometers an hour, which, you know, I suppose for someone of my age who's a semi-retired mental health social worker, you know, that's not too bad. And again, you know, I'll link this to my own emotional well-being. This is my go-to. This is what makes me tick and want to get up in the mornings. Okay, so this goes on, I think, for a few kilometers, so I will leave it there. Now catch us. Right, well, we've done 15 kilometers, and we've come down now from probably the highest point. Nice little wooded area. Easy walking. Oh, it's quite pleasurable. Beauty's obviously enjoying herself. We spotted another couple of walkers today, but I think they were local because they were just out walking the dogs. So I'm gonna find somewhere to stop in a minute. Oops, just go through this gate, and we're gonna have our lunch. But I think we probably broke the back of today's walk at 15 kilometers. So if I'm doing like 5 kilometers an hour, which I'm probably doing a little bit less than that, probably got a couple of hours to go before we get to Kirkmichael. So it's been a beautiful day. We've been very lucky with the weather. I think the weather for the rest of the week is looking a little bit mixed. I think we've got a good day tomorrow, but then I think the weather takes a turn for the worse towards the end of the week. Well, we've done, I think, we've done about 15 kilometers, and we've just found a nice little place to stop, only on a dry stone wall. It was sunny before, so I thought, nice place to stop, just overlooking the green fields here. Walk so far, I think it's been quite nice, to be honest. It's been varied, hasn't it? Coming out to Blairgowrie, it's quite rural and farmland, and then you go up onto a moor, and then we've come back down off the moor through sort of some nice forests, and we're back on a nice track. So I said that's 15 kilometers. I think we've got 10 kilometers. Well, we are about 18 kilometers in now, and the terrain has sort of changed again. We're quite low down now. Look around, we're in there like sort of, it's probably a Caledonian forest. Looks really nice. Just seen before I turned the GoPro on a little herd of deer. I think you call that a herd. I'm not too sure actually, but I think it is a herd. They look like roe deer to me. It's just really stunning, to be honest. I really like it. This part of the walk is particularly nice because it's actually quite it's an enchanting little woodland, if that makes sense. It's just absolutely stunning. So yeah, 18 kilometers in. Beauty's doing really well. I've had to keep her on the lead actually because there's a lot of sheep around, and although I'm confident she would never hurt anything, she'd want to play. It's still sheep harrowing, or harrowing of sheep, even if a dog wants to play. So out of respect for the farmers and wild stock, I've generally kept her on the lead today, but she's been really well behaved. So we're on our way now obviously to Kirkmichael, and I think probably about 7 kilometers to go. So I hope you're enjoying that woodland as much as me. It is actually lovely. Now, I thought I would video this because I think it's quite nice really when you look at we're in a wooded area, but it's quite enclosed. Now the sun is out there, but the sun is not getting through the canopy of the trees. But this, to me, it's just a beautiful walk. It's so varied, the Cateran trail. You know, from the beginning of it, which is rural, and then you get your farmland with your pastures, and then you've got moorland, and then you descend down to the other little village, which I can't remember. It sort of slipped my mind. Blairgowrie. And for Blairgowrie you go up. You can take a fair bit up. I think total ascent is probably about 500 meters on this walk, and then you descend down again into this deciduous forest, you know, which is probably indigenous to the UK, with full of birch and Scotch spruces and oak trees. It's just different. I just think it's very nice, to be honest. Beauty's pulling away on me there. She's still full of the joys of spring. So I just thought I would share that with you. I'm about 4 miles out now from Kirkpatrick, and there's a little boggy area now that I'm coming towards, so I'll just need to take me time, make sure I don't fall. And we're now coming out of the wooded area through a gate, so we'll leave it there. Hi, well, I thought I'd tell you a little bit more actually about the Cateran Trail. Well, the Cateran Trail, it's named after some cattle rustlers, cattle thieves, the Caterans, who used to plague these communities by coming down from wherever they come from to actually steal people's cattle. And as we're going along, there is a bit of a story. So as you get to each little hamlet, I think there's some famous battles, and there's a few plaques along the way. So I'll show you the plaques when we get to them, because there was one decisive battle, and then the Caterans were no more. The local people ganged up against them because they'd basically had enough. You know, if you go back in the day, you know, if you're bringing cattle up and you're trying to raise children and you're living on the bread line, then it's not very nice if someone comes and steals your cattle. So I'll keep you posted along the way, and that's a little bit more about the Cateran Trail. I always think Cateran sounds a bit Spanish to me for some reason, but obviously it's not. I always seem to relate it to Catalonia, but it's not. It's the Catalans, who were the cattle rustlers in Scotland. Okay, see you in a bit. So we've hit the 20-kilometre mark, so that means we've only got 4 kilometres to go, and this is the terrain. It's still a very nice defined path, and to be fair, it is well waymarked all around this track, so you could get away, but I have said this, without a map or a compass or any aids. But as I say, I've brought me 1 to 40,000 Cateran Trail map, and I've got me hiker app. It's always nice to check the hiker app to think, am I on the right trail? I have done it a couple of times, so it's come in handy. So it's whatever floats your boat. If you're confident with finger posts, personally, I can get a little bit distracted sometimes. I miss a finger post. Before you know it, you're in a wee bit of bother and you've gone in the wrong direction. But entirely up to yourselves what method you choose. In terms of safety, you should never go out walking without a map and a compass, and always let people know where you are. On that note, my daughters know I'm going to the Kirkmichael hotel, and the Kirkmichael hotel know I'm checking in at around about 4 o'clock, so if I don't turn up, I'm sure someone will alert the authorities. At least that way you're not gonna, if you do stumble or fumble or hurt yourself, you know, the authorities will be told, and hopefully, fingers crossed, someone will come and find you. So here we go. This is the path leading in to Kirkmichael. So I've reached this point on day one. This is the path into Kirkmichael, which is 3/4 of a mile off in that direction. As you can see, it's still a good solid path. I've still got Beauty on the lead, because if you look over there, you can see there is little lambs around, and it's only respectful that you adhere to the countryside codes. And when the farmers say dogs on leads, then as far as I'm concerned, it's dogs on leads. And there she is. There's the leader. Beauty, my Lancashire healer, and that's day one nearly over. So it's only 3/4 of a mile now into my first destination, and I shall speak to you when I get at the hotel.